Today we're gonna sit down and have a nice little heart-to-heart chat, little big sis advice moment, as I love doing on my channel. These are like some of my favorite videos where I just sit down and we just talk about shit. Let's just talk about shit. Obviously, I know that not every single person who's watching this video is going to be able to relate to this topic entirely. It varies from person to person, and honestly, I'm only speaking from my experience and my opinion. But something that I'm really noticing a lot of lately in my own personal life and also just online and in my friends' lives and family, etc., is losing friendships and just friendships growing and evolving and fizzling out and ending abruptly and all of these different things. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the climate that we're in at the moment. I think now knowing that our time here, and more than ever really, that our time here is so finite and that it's like we're on a floating rock in outer space and like we don't have any time to waste on anyone that's not 100% down for us and vice versa. So we'll get into all of that, but I think a lot of us are in a season of change in life and we're kind of shedding old layers and we're hopefully evolving as humans and we're learning more. And also, I mean, if we're gonna get right into it, it's been really hard navigating this time and seeing people that you've been friends with for a long or a short time handling this pandemic so irresponsibly. It makes you lose a lot of respect for that person and it makes you just feel like you can't trust them at times. And I know I'm not alone in saying that. I think it's just really hard to navigate all of this and then just, you know, being an adult and figuring out friendships and how to balance them and a relationship and work and family and all these different things, your own personal hobbies, your own me time. It can be really difficult. I'm not in my DMs that much anymore. However, I have noticed quite a few DMs from people saying things like, how do you cultivate such amazing friendships in your life? Or how do I get friendships like the ones you have? Or I could only dream of having a friendship like that. You know, it'll be a comment on a vlog or something. And honestly, I feel ill-equipped to answer this because I'm just being brutally honest here. I've struggled with friendships in my life growing up. I think having ADHD has really brought a lot of clarity for that. I think I used to really blame myself and think that there was something wrong with me and that I was a terrible person and a terrible friend because it's really hard for me to maintain a massive amount of friendships. It's very difficult. I oftentimes forget important dates, I forget birthdays, I forget to text people back. It's definitely difficult to draw that line between like, okay, I'm being a bad friend and like, oh, okay, my brain works differently than yours does. You know what I mean? Throughout my life, I think also moving a ton, which I've talked about here and there on my channels before, like I moved so much throughout my childhood that I kind of just had to become good at making friends. I was always the new kid. It was really difficult for me to come into a new school and sort of be this new girl who didn't know anyone, who didn't have any friends, and everyone already had their friend groups established, and it got harder the older I got. Everyone had been friends since like kindergarten, and I was coming in like 4th grade or 5th grade or 9th grade or whatever. And so I think, honestly, if we're doing a deep dive on myself here, I became quite a chameleon. Although my parents are both extremely talkative people, they're very friendly. Both of my parents have like no problem talking to people. I feel lucky that I like inherited that and that it's just kind of like genetic for me, because I know for a lot of people it's not that way. They're shy. But I did kind of learn how to blend into my environment, and I was heavily influenced by my friends and who I was hanging out with because I just wanted to belong. I wanted to feel like I was a part of a group. And I think coming into adulthood has been really interesting because I'm like, wait a minute, like I've sort of noticed that I can switch depending on who I'm hanging out with, like my personality, the way I text. I don't know if that's like a thing. I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's some psychological thing that goes along with that. But I've really been over the last few years focusing on like just being me, being the same version of me no matter who I'm hanging out with, and just being my true fucking blue, genuine, honest self, because that's all I can do, and what you give off is what you attract. So for me, I'm at a point in life where I'm 33 years old and I don't have time to invest in friendships that aren't reciprocated anymore. Like, I'm giving my valuable time and energy, and if you're not giving a similar amount back to me, then it's probably not gonna work out long term, you know? know? And also, I think this kind of goes along with that. I'm not done with that thought yet, but realizing the older that you get, that nobody owes you shit. They don't owe you your time. They don't owe you a text back. Everyone has their own shit going on. They're dealing with their own mental health, their own trauma. A lot of my friends are wives or husbands or partners or parents or have a lot of responsibilities at work or are just like people who have their own lives. You know, not everyone owes you a response or they don't owe you anything. So I'm not saying that in a way that's like everyone has to be obsessed with me, but I'm saying it in a way that like a friendship can oftentimes, if you feel like you're the one putting in more energy, it can oftentimes feel one-sided, and that doesn't feel good, and nobody benefits from that. And I have definitely over the last few years really kind of gone through with a fine-tooth comb and assessed and evaluated, like, how do I feel when I'm around this person? How do I feel after I leave hanging out with this person? Am I constantly questioning myself and thinking that I did something wrong and feeling like shit and beating myself up? Am I always kind of tiptoeing and wondering if they're mad at me even though they're not communicating that with me? Am I always wondering if I'm good enough for them? You know, all these different things. And also honestly just like assessing, like, am I in a position where I have the capacity to be a good friend to this person or not? Like, are we aligned in a lot of different areas in life? Learning to sort of let a friendship fizzle out is a tough but sometimes necessary decision, because sometimes it can kind of just be one person like putting in all the work and doing this sort of forced communication thing when neither of you are really in the same position in life anymore. I've definitely experienced that, where sometimes it's not even like this friendship breakup, which I will talk about next. It's sometimes just like a natural thing where you love this person so much. You were these two individuals who came together when you met and were like, oh my gosh, let's be friends. And you were, you know, friends for a reason. But a lot of times life happens and it can set you out on completely different paths. And that's something that I've just really had to learn how to accept and let go. Is like, I used to try and be like, if a friendship sort of naturally falls out, or if we just don't communicate as much anymore, or if it's just not the same vibe as it used to be and it doesn't make me feel the same way, and you can tell that they kind of feel the same way too, I used to blame myself and be like, I've done something wrong. And sometimes that's the case, but sometimes it's just a matter of like, you met and you were these two people and then like life happened and you kind of went on different paths and now suddenly you're these two people, and it doesn't really, it's not as natural and organic. I've had friendships that I had when I was really young, like met them when I was 7, 8 years old. We were the best of friends. We were so close. We stayed in touch throughout high school and college, and then now as women in our 30s, we don't really have much in common anymore. We don't have the same sense of humor. We don't have the same interests. We're not aligned in any kind of way. We're on two completely different paths in life, and that doesn't negate the love that's there or the history. A lot of times you can grow and evolve with somebody, and I think that's really important. I have plenty of friendships in my life. I have friendships that are going on 20 years at this point, but I also have friendships that have not really withstood the test of time, and you realize, like, I still love this person and would take a bullet for this person. I would jump in front of a train for this person. The love never fades. It's just sort of a like, well, do we really like vibe that much anymore? Is it more of a forced thing to check in on each other, or is it like out of a genuine desire to catch up and hang out and do all of that, you know? And again, if you're watching this, you may have had the same best friend since you were 2 years old and still have that same best friend to this day, and I think that's amazing. My best friend, like my closest best friend, I've had since I was like 15 years old. I'm 33 now. She's gonna be my best friend for life. We're literally family at this point. Like, it's actual family. But then sometimes you have people that, you know, you just naturally sort of, it fades, it fizzles. Sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's their fault, sometimes there's no one's fault, and it just happens. Friendship breakups happen, and I really want to normalize friendship breakups. I think it's very normal to have friendships come and go from your life, and I think I used to think it was like a sign that I was a toxic person or that there was something wrong with me, because shit happens. Sometimes, you know, I've had people that I worked with that I was like, oh my gosh, you're my best friend in the entire world. I could never see my life without you. And then we don't work together anymore, and we don't really see each other that often. And when I talked about this recently on my vlog channel, I got so many responses from people being like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate to this. And I think it's more common than a lot of us realize. I also think it comes down to like the feeling that you have when you're around someone. So if you don't feel like you're in a space where you're wanted, don't go there. I have definitely been in friendships before. There's one in particular that I can think of that I had a few years ago where I was never sure where I stood with that person. It totally depended on the day. Are they gonna show up and be happy and bubbly and, you know, like the fun parts that I clung on to that I loved about hanging out with this person, or are they gonna be like rude and bossy and find something to be mad at me about and constantly make me wonder what the hell I've done wrong, even though I've never been anything but like kind and generous. You know, it's really important to go where you're wanted, and if you're not wanted, then don't go there. I don't know, it seems a lot more simple, and things can be a lot more complicated. I had a best friend in high school like that, and I would get so excited to see her and so excited to hang out with her, and she was always just kind of meh about hanging out with me, and eventually it just got to the point where I didn't want to hang out with her anymore because I kind of didn't feel like it was equal parts, it was equal work in this relationship. It felt very one-sided, and I am certain actually that people have felt that way about me. Sometimes it just happens. Even though I'm talking about friendship breakups and normalizing them and all of that, it doesn't negate the fact that it's fucking hard. I've had friendship breakups that have like hit me harder than relationship breakups. I've gone through friendship breakups where I genuinely feel like I lost a part of me, and I feel like I gave so many years and so much love to this person, and maybe vice versa, but it just didn't work out, or something got in the way, or we changed, or whatever, and it's sad. It's sad. I've spent time crying about these things. I still get little pangs here and there of memories from friendships of mine that have ended, like a song will come on, or I'll drive past an old house that I grew up in, or I'll see something that reminds me of them or whatever, and it hurts. It hurts. If you're in that phase of life right now and you're going through something like that, my heart does go out to you. It will get better. And if there's anyone out there who's watching this that feels like they don't have any friends, or they've lost a friend and they'll never make another one, you will. And something that I saw online recently, I can't remember who said it, but it said, you haven't met everyone who will love you yet. And I know that's like kind of cheesy, but honestly, that just made me so happy because there are so many people in my life who I love so much, who even I've met over the last few years, and I just couldn't picture my life without them. I'm like, how were you ever not in my life before? And now thinking about the fact that there are more people that I'm going to meet that I feel that same way about, that just excites me so much. It makes me so excited. And if you are going through a situation where you feel like you were undervalued, just know that at any time, someone new can come into your life and completely change everything. You know, I really do believe in that, and I think friendships, especially female friendships, is such an important thing to me in my life. I really, like, not gonna lie, I really used to say that I was a guy's girl. I was that girl. Like, I was the girl that was like, I'm not like other girls, I'm a guy's girl, girls don't understand me, girls are drama. But I grew up, I realized that that was rooted in misogyny and just trauma and a lot of different things that have happened to me, and now female friendships are like the most important thing in my entire life. I love being a girl's girl, I love the girlies, I love my girls, gays, and nays, and like I said, I am by no means the perfect friend. I have a lot to work on. The trash is coming. See, this is metaphoric. It's like you're taking out the trash. You are an amazing friend. You have so much to offer the world. Like, who wouldn't want to be friends with you? Remove that freaking self-doubt, baby. Take it out with the trash. I hate that I just did that. That was bad. I can honestly keep blabbing forever, but I hope you took something from this, or that you could relate to it in some way or another. And like, nothing's perfect. No person is the perfect friend. Nobody owes you shit at the end of the day, but hopefully you will get to a place where you feel that you have cultivated friendships that are equal and make you feel loved and make you feel supported and understood. And I mean, there's just nothing better than that, and I wish that for all of you, and hopefully we all already have it. If you have any advice for people watching this video, or I mean for me, I could use it, or if you want to share your experience in the comments below, I would love to start a conversation and just kind of relate to one another down there, and hopefully just connect as a community, and maybe you can make friends with each other. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I love you all very much. I'm sending you so much love, a big friendly bear hug if you want it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.